From giant apes towering over men to fragile survivors clinging to treetops. The forgotten lineage of orangutans is the most haunting survival story ever told. Imagine a time 2.8 million years ago, when dense rainforests echoed with the calls of creatures unlike any alive today. Among them, emerged the ancestors of modern orangutans, silent keepers of a forgotten lineage. The story of ancient orangutans is hidden deep in prehistory. Unlike humans or Neanderthals, their journey isn't written in bones alone, but in scattered fossils, ancient teeth, and whispers of DNA that survived the passage of time. These ancestors were larger, stronger, and perhaps far more intelligent than we imagine. Their survival in harsh, ever-changing climates reveals a mystery. How did orangutans thrive when so many other species vanished forever? The Earth back then was unforgiving, shifting continents, rising mountains, and dramatic climate swings. Yet, in the thick forests of Asia, orangutan ancestors clung to survival, adapting in ways that shaped their destiny. Fossils discovered in China, India, and Southeast Asia reveal their wide reach. Once, orangutans weren't confined to Borneo or Sumatra. They roamed across vast lands, kings of the treetops and rulers of hidden jungles. Their massive jaws and powerful teeth tell a story of endurance. These ancestors cracked through hard nuts and fibrous plants, surviving when food grew scarce. Their diets made them masters of resilience in prehistoric forests. But this story is not just about biology. It's about survival, a fight against extinction. The forgotten lineage of ancient orangutans speaks of triumphs and tragedies carved into Earth's deep history. As climates cooled, ice advanced, and forests shrank, these primates faced the unthinkable. Some perished, others adapted. It was evolution's brutal test. Only the strongest bloodlines survived to echo into modern orangutans. What makes this tale even more haunting is that orangutans nearly vanished multiple times. Just like humans, they stood on the edge of extinction, their fate hanging by the thinnest thread of chance. Unlike humans who built tools and fire, orangutans relied on memory, intelligence, and the forest itself. Their adaptation wasn't technological, it was natural, a bond with the trees that became their lifeline. In ancient myths of the forest, orangutans were believed to be the men of the jungle. Perhaps these legends echo deeper truths, memories of powerful primates who once ruled unseen empires of green. The fossils show variety, some species massive, almost twice the size of today's orangutans. Imagine an orangutan as tall as a man but heavier, moving through dense canopies like a ghost of the wild. These ancient giants were called Gigantopithecus, a cousin in the orangutan lineage, standing nearly 10 feet tall, weighing over 500 kilograms. They were the largest apes to ever walk the earth. But gigantism had its cost. Gigantopithecus required immense food supplies. When forests declined, they couldn't adapt quickly enough. Slowly, these towering apes faded from existence, leaving only scattered fossils as evidence. Meanwhile, smaller orangutan ancestors endured. Flexibility became their weapon. Where giants fell, the adaptable survived, carrying forward the hidden bloodline that still breathes in modern orangutans today. This contrast reveals a law of evolution. Survival doesn't always belong to the strongest or biggest, but to those who can bend without breaking. Ancient orangutans mastered this truth. They traveled rivers, climbed mountains, and crossed jungles to find safe havens. Over generations, they spread into new territories, carrying ancient knowledge etched into their DNA. Their intelligence was remarkable. Orangutans could plan, remember fruit cycles, and navigate forests with a mental map sharper than any compass. Imagine this skill in their ancient ancestors, guiding survival across centuries. The forgotten lineage also reveals connections to us. Humans and orangutans share nearly 97% of DNA. Their story is not distant from ours. It's a reflection of survival that shaped both species. While humans left the forests for open plains, orangutans chose the trees. This divergence, millions of years ago, carved two destinies, one leading to cities, the other to silence among canopies. But silence doesn't mean weakness. Ancient orangutans were masters of patience. In an age of predators and harsh climates, waiting, observing, and striking at the right moment became their ultimate survival strategy. Scientists believe they may have lived longer than most primates of their time. Longevity gave them wisdom, allowing mothers to teach survival skills across decades, ensuring their offspring carried ancestral knowledge. This long childhood bond became their secret strength. Unlike many animals, Orangutans invested years in raising young. It was costly. But it forged resilience, knowledge passed like an unbroken flame. Yet even resilience has limits. As ice ages grew harsher, orangutans were forced into isolated pockets. What was once a vast empire shrank into fragments of rainforest, cutting them off from one another. Isolation created unique bloodlines. Different groups adapted differently, slowly evolving into distinct orangutan species. Diversity became their shield, ensuring that at least some survived the changing earth. But isolation also meant vulnerability. Once forests disappeared, there was no escape. Unlike humans who migrated, orangutans were bound to the jungle, prisoners of the trees they loved. Still, survival was etched into their bones, even in the darkest moments of prehistory. When giants like mammoths and saber-tooths vanished, orangutans held on. Their story is one of endurance. When we look into modern orangutan eyes, we glimpse that ancient endurance. Behind their calm gaze lies 8 million years of unbroken survival, a lineage forgotten, but never lost. The mystery remains. What secrets of intelligence did these ancient orangutans hold? Could their ways of survival inspire us today? In a world facing its own ecological crises, perhaps the forgotten lineage isn't just about the past, but a warning for the future. Survival belongs not to the strongest, but to the adaptable. But here's the haunting truth. Even now, orangutans are critically endangered. Once again, they face extinction, not from ice ages, but from us. The forgotten lineage survived millions of years of natural disasters, but may not survive human greed. Deforestation, hunting, and climate change echo the same threats of prehistory. If we lose them now, we don't just lose an animal, we lose the last living link to a forgotten age, an ancient story written across millions of years. Imagine the silence of a world without orangutans. The forests will lose their storytellers, and humanity will lose its reflection in a distant mirror of evolution. But there is still hope. Conservation efforts, awareness, and protection can keep this forgotten lineage alive. The story doesn't have to end here. We stand at a crossroad, just as nature once did millions of years ago. The question is, will orangutans survive another extinction test? Their story is not just history, it is our responsibility. The forgotten lineage asks us to remember, to act, and to protect what remains. Because in their eyes, we see our own origins. Their survival is tied to ours, both species bound by a shared struggle against extinction. The forests whisper a warning. Will we listen, or will we let the last chapter of orangutans be written in silence? 2.8 million years of resilience led to this moment. The forgotten lineage stands on the edge, and it is up to us whether they fall or rise again. Their past is carved in stone, but their future is still unwritten. We hold the pen now, and the ink is our choices. This is not just their story, it is ours. For in saving them, we save a piece of our own forgotten history. If you believe their story must not be forgotten, share this journey. Subscribe for more hidden tales of prehistory, because only by remembering the past, can we protect the future.